I've moved along a little bit now, literally about 5 or 6 yards, and I've come across Councillor
Pam Brivio.
Thank you, Pam. And we're going to ask you, first of all, to tell us what your opinions are of Dover Community Radio, or the prospects of setting it up.
Well, I think the prospects are good, provided we get a sort of clear remit of what your objectives are and your target audience and how long you're going to actually be able to broadcast for. Because I understand from when you came to us for an application for a grant, you've got a time slot that you think you'll be able to be on air for.
Well, that's right. At first, we're to go on air on FM. We are looking to go for a month at a time. We are looking to start off gradually on the internet, give a website to people so as they can download interviews like we're doing now. Also, anything else that will be of use to them with the community of Dover. Any projects that are going on, if the Town Council would like to give us some information on the projects they're doing, we can put that on the website. And then eventually, once we've got the licence from the authorities, then we can go on permanently and it'll be a permanent thing. But you have to do it gradually. You've got to raise the funds, because obviously it costs a lot of money to go on to FM broadcasting as a radio station, whereas on the internet, how we're doing at the moment, it's a lot cheaper. So we're just trying to get going gradually. Eventually we'll be going on the air next year on FM once we've got the funding in place.
Right, because you, as I say, I know you did make a grant application, and I think it was probably agreed in principle, but we're subject to certain clarification.
That's right. At the moment, we're trying to secure premises. The main thing we're doing, we're in conversations with the Crabble Corn Mill and a few other places, whichever one that can help us out with a venue. Once we've got the premises all done, then we're going to get the equipment all installed, and that's our basis then. Until we've got the premises, we're finding it hard to progress any further. That's our main objective and our aim at the moment. Once that's all done, then the next stage is we'll then approach yourselves regarding grants and everything to try and progress on to the next stage.
You seem to have made quite a lot of progress since I first heard of the application, because that was the two things you've reminded me. It was premises, funding, etc., etc. I think we were happy for the idea in principle, but you always have to think, what difference is that radio going to make to what you've already got? But I think I like the idea of being able to sort of broadcast local events, because if you want to use any of the other radio stations, there's quite often a cost involved.
I'd like to just butt in here, because one of the things we're discussing at the moment, I've set up a couple of radio stations in the past, and I'm a fairly new boy with Dover. One of the things we're discussing is the possibility of having an online radio station. That concept where, you know the BBC iPlayer?
Oh, use it all the time.
There you go. That just says an awful lot to us. Well, it would be very much like that. So we make programme. And then we come along and we say, or publicise it via local newspapers and say, if you want to listen to this programme, go on the internet and here it is, and you can download it, and it'll be there for evermore if you want.
I think that's a really way forward. I mean, that is how people now listen to and watch programmes if they've missed it, or as you say, if you get your if you get it pitched right and people know it's there, then I think the future will be good.
Yes, a community radio station like Dover could link up with several other radio stations online and pass information around. It could be an incredible network. So the other thing that I was thinking about was that you have council meetings, and those meetings are usually put out in print. That's right?
Correct, yes. They have to be advertised a certain number of days in advance. They're obviously on the website, and people can come in and ask for copies of the agendas, etc.
Right. Now, supposing we offered you the opportunity to record these things so that people can actually go and listen to what you're doing.
I wouldn't be able to obviously give a guaranteed answer to that, because it wouldn't be up to me, it'd be up to the full council. But I do like the idea of it, yes, I do like the idea of it.
This would then link in with people with disabilities, like someone who's blind. They can't see what's in print, obviously, so it's another way of getting out to the other people, even though they might be a minority. It just gives them an idea that what's going on, and another outlet for yourselves. And as you said, it's quite right, it's free, it's not going to cost you anything to do it.
I think when you're talking about publication of agendas, I like the idea that perhaps there could be a sort of short synopsis. Oh, so-and-so meeting is on this evening, and the subjects they're going to discuss this evening include, rather than a verbatim report, because I think they might die of boredom. Making people aware of what is on the agenda, because then sometimes somebody may, despite perhaps, I take your point about disability, because you've got to be accessible, but it might mean that somebody might think, I'm going to try and get to that meeting. I'm interested in that.
The other thing is, what I'm trying to push is a meeting that's going into print about what they've done. It can be broken down by our script people. We've got some very intelligent people on this, so we can break it down. And then we could get one of the people that proposed various motions and all that sort of thing to talk about why they're proposing the motion. How does that sound to you?
That sounds, as I say, quite... it does enable better access, doesn't it?
It's communication, which is what the life is all about these days. The youngsters are growing up. Sadly, they don't read as much as they used to. At least I don't think they do. But I'm one of the older guys, and I don't read as much. I've got dyslexia, so I steer away from reading. But if I can listen to something and it's put together and edited properly, I'm not talking about just a random thing. I would like to get the confidence of Dover Council to at least give it a try.
Yeah. Well, I just sort of think, if you do obviously succeed in getting off the ground, that's a proposal that you would have to come back to us formally, because obviously I'm just one of 18, and obviously I don't make council policy.
I see. You're ever the diplomat, yes. Yeah.
A couple of friends who've got macular degeneration, and so like we've got a reading group, and we're always conscious that we've got to get things that are accessible to them.
That's a typical example, and this is what I feel that community radio is all about. It's not a question of entertainment. Entertainment comes out of the interest of the articles that are there. But I think one of the things that we've got to steer away from, there's loads of people out there broadcasting 24 hours a day, and it drives me nuts because, there is nothing substantial in it.
Yeah. Yes, I do totally understand. I'm quite selective in what I listen to and what I choose to listen to. I have the radio on a lot, but as you say, some programmes I'm particularly will be looking out for, for information. So I think communication is the issue that you're really pushing, and I think that's very valid.
Yeah. Well, I think it's the only way we can really justify ourselves in this, in society. But now I'll drop that subject for the time being, and I'm not going to take too long. How did Dover become a free trade area?
Well, it's actually, we've got fair trade town status. Several years ago, we were approached by a local clergyman, Father Michael Hinton, encouraging the Dover Town Council to become a fair trade town. So we started off in a small way, using fair trade products at the town council offices. But to become a fair trade town, there's a lot more involved. I'm not quite sure the actual timescale, but we had to make 2 attempts. But you have to show that you have a certain number of retail outlets providing fair trade products to their customers, a certain number of businesses, cafes, restaurants, workplaces, organisations, and it's a set criteria that the Fair Trade Foundation set down, and we were successful in February 2009, and we resubmitted